So my question is about what to be focusing on in phases of business. So, for example, there's a particular client that you have to take when you're just starting out. You don't really get to be that choosy. But I love what you say in the boot camp and just generally your coaching about like pick the ones, and maybe I've made that up about initial phases, but that's what I did. I just took whoever was willing to pay. Yeah. And then as I've grown, I've gone, oh, you know what? I can let these people go. Like what they're paying versus what I'm providing them and what they want, it's not a match. So I'm now going to let you go. So I'm in this position now where I've been like firing clients a lot more regularly than people are stopping with us, which has been amazing because it's like, much better results, way less work. Connected to that is, so that's just an example. Like, what do you need to focus on at particular phases? Right now, like we're at a point where we've got a revenue of 700,000 approximately, and I really want to take it up above that 7 figures. And I've had that goal ever since I listened to Get Rich Lucky Bitch, and I was like, okay, I want to have like $500,000 profit, and it seemed really straightforward at the time, and I made a lot of changes and a lot of lifestyle upgrades and to do with like getting time back and so forth. But yeah, getting to that next level and what to focus on, is my question.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So many layers to this one. So I think I actually did a video yesterday about how in your first year of business, you kind of do have to say yes to everything, and you say yes to every client, you say yes to every opportunity, even if it's super scary. And then I think you get to a point, and it's a little tipping point, where you start to have to say maybe to things. And that's where it's like, oh, that depends. Is that the right direction? Is that the right client? Is that the right, pricing, all of that kind of stuff? Or, you just want to think about it a bit. And then you get to a point where you have to start saying no to stuff. And that is a real graduation point too, right? Where you're like, no, I won't put up with this. No, we have to have boundaries. No, I won't work with that particular client. And like, it is a real permission thing, right? But the other thing I want to say to you, I think, is when you can see that $1 million mark, like over the horizon, it is such a mental game. And I think there's something there, like where it's like, I'm already working so hard. It's like the math doesn't math, because you go, I'm going to have to work like 50% harder to get that. And it's not, you can't. And so that's when you have to really, like the leverage stuff, you have to get your brain around it, because then it's like, it is allowed to be easier and more profitable. But I still think up to that point, it is still a linear progression. The harder we work, the more money we make. The more students we see, the more money we make. The more staff I have, the more money we make. And it is like such a, do you know what I mean? Like it is just a real linear relationship. But to go beyond that point, that's when you have to go, oh, we can leverage our time and expertise. We can have books and courses and group things. But there's still some part of your brain that's like the math doesn't math. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. And there's a concern that if we move away from what we've been offering, it's going to not be as good. Or are we now going to be selling to a different level of clientele, and our marketing and our setup for that is not? Because I have along the way tried to then go, I'm going to introduce this group thing. And I've gone, instead of paying for 4 lessons for $100 an hour, let's say, you can do this course for $150. So I'm trying to save them money and then to give them the same value. But then the effort I'm putting in to get that smaller amount is the same. I'm not making less effort to put people in some kind of group thing. So then I just stopped that, because I was like, I'm putting so much energy into going, oh, great. We made 10 grand out of these courses, but at what cost of my time and the actual revenue that was coming in? So one of the things I find it hard to do and is like making that shift from that one-to-one, because what we do is we've got a one-to-one model. I just now have coaches that do the one-to-one instead of me doing all the one-to-one. So,
which is still more leverage than you doing it.
Yeah.
But I still think there's something there though about the courses, because courses can be so incredibly leveraged. But I think you've got a mindset shift there that you have to make to be like, this is incredibly valuable, not because it's more convenient for me, because you're almost thinking, I can see the leverage for me, but what's the win for them? There's a huge win in for them that they can access it whenever they want to, and so it's convenient and it solves a problem and, all of those things. But I think you've got to get over that of going, it's not the same. It's not the same. It is different, but it's still amazing. It can still give someone a result. And then that way, then you can start to go, oh my God, it can be as many people as possible and it can be easier. It feels like you're almost, I see this sometimes because we've got this work hard thing inside us. Yeah. It becomes self-fulfilling. And so you're like, it's the same amount of work.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's just that I think that's where it's sabotaging, right? It's becoming self-fulfilling, but it is the exact same amount of work. So you're like, see, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
What if it's allowed to be really easy? Like, what if you could make an extra $1 million in the next year just from the course part of your business?
Well, I don't have a course.
That's what I mean. You got to do it.
That's free.
You got to do it. That's the thing.
Yeah, okay,
Imagine if you
gotcha.
could do it.
Yeah,
But it's like at the moment, I reckon it's your mindset that's just going, it does not count. It's not the same.
Okay, yeah. So at what point do you then put that work in to go to the next like course level?
Do it now.
Yeah.
What are you waiting for? But honestly, are you waiting for a permission? Are you waiting for a graduation? Are you waiting for like... None of us know how long our apprenticeships are. And this is the hard thing in business, right? If you were a plumber, a hairdresser or whatever, they're like, here's your apprenticeship. You have to tick this, or you have to do this amount of hours. And when you work for yourself, you don't know what that is.
Yeah,
So you have to do it for yourself, right? You have to just go, we're ready. Let's do it now.
Because I've tried to do courses before, but then it just ends up being, I feel, this big distraction from what's actually making us money. And so we've really only we've hit such milestones when I've gone, okay, I'm just doubling down and focusing on this one thing. Stop getting distracted and trying to do other things. Just do this. And that's had huge benefit financially. But then I go, yeah, there will be a limit to that. And at what point?
Do it now.
Okay.
What do you like? You book the videographer and that you'll make it happen. You've got the content. Okay. You just do it. You just have to do it. Like, you just have to do it. And we don't know, like, you won't know how many students you'll have for that, but it will be done. And the thing too with courses, it's never perfect, right?
Yeah.
So you'll still have to redo it every year or every 2 years or whatever, but at least it will be there as an asset. And you just have to choose that it's okay to do it now, and it still counts and it will still help people. Just like the mindset shift that you had to go through of going from in-person tutoring to Zoom tutoring. Yeah. You got forced into that.
Yeah.
Right? But it still counts and it's amazing, and you see that it helps people. You have to go through that same mental thing now with the course, but you have to choose to do it, not something outside you.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.